Welcome to the next lesson in this module, where we explain how this MOOC is organized and discuss steps you can take to master the material we cover. After completing this lesson, you'll understand the MOOC structure and the main topics covered in each module of the MOOC, and recognize what's expected of you in terms of background knowledge and the steps you should take to complete the programming assignments and quizzes successfully. You'll also learn where to find more information on developing Android apps in Java effectively. Most topics we cover in this lesson apply to all the MOOCs in the specialization, so please watch it carefully. We'll start this lesson by summarizing the contents of this MOOC that follow the overview material in this first module. The second module presents an introduction to Android Studio, explaining how to install it, as well as how to apply it to develop simple apps written using the basic Java and Android features covered in this MOOC. The third module shows how to write other simple Android apps that use methods to define variables using primitive Java data types, assign values to those variables, and then output the variables to the Android display. Module 4 covers Java features that control the flow of execution through an app, including its various iteration constructs, such as for loops, while loops, and do-while loops, as well as its conditional execution constructs, such as if-else statements. Module 5 provides more detail on Java features that enable apps to access structured data. These features include its built-in arrays, common classes in the Java collections framework, such as ArrayList and HashMap, as well as the for-each loop, which can be used to iterate through each element in a Java collection. The sixth module covers Java features that group related operations and data into classes and interfaces. These features include Java's methods, generic parameters, fields, and exceptions. Module 7 examines Java features for customizing the behavior of existing classes via inheritance and polymorphism. These features make it possible to extend classes transparently and override their methods to customize their behavior. Finally, Module 8 guides learners through the creation of an Android app that implements a simple calculator, providing features for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing numbers added by various means, such as a text string and via buttons on the Android user interface. The modules in this MOOC are structured uniformly. In particular, each module is composed of multiple lessons, which cover a set of related topics, such as Java classes, conditional statements, or the Android Studio App Wizard. Each lesson is presented as a single lecture. Each lesson is composed of segments, including intros and outros that summarize the lesson's learning objectives, and one or more segments that present the technical content of the lesson. In-video quizzes periodically pop up to check if you've mastered the material covered in the lesson. If you download the videos and watch them locally on your computer, these quizzes won't appear, but some of the questions may show up on the weekly standalone quizzes, which we discuss later in this lesson. This MOOC specialization is intended both for learners who are just starting to program, as well as for learners switching to Java and/or Android for the first time. The topics covered in the MOOC are based on material we teach to our undergrad students at Vanderbilt University. When teaching these courses to our students face-to-face, we can rely on them having taken the necessary prerequisites in the right order. In contrast, one challenge of teaching MOOCs is that we don't really know what you know, or whether you're prepared to master the topics we cover. We developed this specialization with certain expectations of learners who take the MOOCs. These expectations are summarized in the Frequently Asked Questions, or FAQ webpage. In particular, this MOOC is intended for self-motivated learners interested in understanding both the concepts and practice of developing mobile apps. It's also intended for learners who are curious about the entire Android platform at the API level, as well as the inner workings of its software stack. Finally, we expect that learners are willing and able to read and follow the instructions in the MOOC assignments and announcements. We don't expect you to have a computer science background. However, we do expect you to have basic computer literacy skills, such as knowing how to send and receive emails, browse the web, participate in online discussion forums, and upload and download files on websites. Naturally, after you complete this MOOC specialization, we expect you to know how to use Android Studio, how to apply Java features needed to develop apps using core Android components, how to use the Git software version control system, as well as how and when to apply common software engineering concepts, methods, and programming skills to develop mobile apps for Android. There will be several programming assignments in this MOOC, all written in Java using Android Studio. The FAQ outlines which versions of Android and Java software to install so that everyone will have a common environment. All source code for the assignments and examples, as well as the source code for Java and Android, is available online via the links available at the MOOC GitHub website. The programming assignments will provide you with experience developing apps using a range of Java and Android features. The assignments may change a bit for each MOOC offering to keep the material fresh and aligned with enhancements in the Android platform. However, they're all designed to enable you to demonstrate mastery of each Java feature we cover. The standalone quizzes given weekly will be due at the end of the MOOC and are entirely auto-graded. In contrast, the programming assignments will be assessed via a mixture of auto-grading and peer grading, using the evaluation process discussed in the FAQ. If you're taking this MOOC to get a verified certificate, you're required to take the quizzes and complete the programming assignments, which will tally using the grading criteria described at the MOOC GitHub website. Learners taking this specialization are expected to devote time and effort each week to watch the lessons, take the quizzes, and complete the programming assignments. However, we recognize that everyone has different learning styles, backgrounds, motivations, aptitudes, and time commitments. Therefore, we can't precisely estimate how much time you'll require to complete the MOOCs in this specialization. In general, of course, the more time and effort you can expend on these MOOCs, the more benefits you'll receive. Naturally, you can also take these MOOCs solely to learn the material and expand your knowledge of Java and Android, in which case there's no need to take any quizzes or submit any programming assignment solutions at all. This MOOC specialization covers a wide range of topics, some of which require careful thinking and practice to master. To help you learn all this material, here are some strategies we suggest you consider when navigating through the lessons in these MOOCs. First, watch the lessons carefully before taking the quizzes and doing the programming assignments. Some topics we cover are technically deep, especially the more advanced Java features like inheritance and dynamic binding. So consider watching these videos multiple times, perhaps at different rates of speed, to fully comprehend the topics we're covering. Although we can't address all aspects of Java and Android in our limited time together, you may benefit from other online resources to learn more about these topics, either during or after these MOOCs. Therefore, many slides contain links to articles, tutorials, source code, and documentation that you can explore as your time and interest permits. No quiz questions relate to these supplemental materials, so feel free to examine them at your leisure. Although it's helpful to browse the freely available resources online, the list of suggested readings on the MOOC's GitHub website provides even more comprehensive information related to programming Java and Android. We therefore encourage you to read these books to gain additional insights into the material we cover in the lessons. We also recommend watching tutorials that provide additional coverage of topics related to Android and Java. For example, the videos and screencasts from the Coursera MOOCs and classes we teach at Vanderbilt University are a great online resource. Although MOOCs provide a flexible learning model, you may want a more immersive experience by attending Coursera meetup groups near you, where you can join your fellow students for face-to-face conversations and further engage in the topics we cover. Another way to make this MOOC feel more like a face-to-face course is to participate in the online discussion forums, where you can interact with other students, post questions, give answers, clarify points of confusion, and learn who else is wrestling with some of the same challenges that you are. The teaching staff regularly monitors the forums and provides tips and pointers to mentor you through the learning process. However, there are only a handful of us, but tens of thousands of you, so please read the policies on forum posting at this link and be respectful of fellow students and staff. Now that you've completed this lesson, you should understand the overall structure of the MOOC and the main topics covered in each module. Recognize what's expected of you to learn the material presented in the upcoming lessons in order to complete the programming assignments and quizzes successfully, and know where to find more information on topics related to developing Android apps in Java. Much of this information is available in the FAQ, so please read it carefully prior to watching the remaining lessons, since it provides useful insights and suggestions to help you master the material in this MOOC.